Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create. We're working on Ephemera Queen and this is page 7. Page 7 is going to be the same as page 2. And we have two large flaps. We have an 8.5 by 6 score ½ inch on the 8.5 inch side. And then we have a 6.5 by 6 score ½ inch on the 6.5 inch side. And these are going to be layered on top of each other. And the first flap is going to be installed. I have to look at my previous one to tell you. On the right hand side. So we're going to center the large flap on the right hand side, and we're going to do that by finding the midpoint of the pocket page and the midpoint of the flap. Okay, and then we're going to install that. So just to be sure, I'm putting this right side up. I'm checking, yep. Yeah. So it's going to go on the right hand side. There we go. And now the second flap is actually going to get, so this one is going to open to the right. This one will open to the left. So it's going to get installed centered on top of this flap like so. So there should be a 1 inch on either side. So we're going to mark off the center line for this flap. Oops, it's not a pencil. And then the center line on this flap. And then we're going to lay it on top. Add a couple magnets, and then it'll be time to decorate. Okay, so I've got my little pencil mark right here and one right here, and I'm going to put these two together to locate this flap. There we go. So it's going to open like so, and there you get a top-down view. Okay, we're going to add two sets of magnets, one to close the top flap, and then one to close the bottom. And the same thing here. I'm not going to burnish the tape in place just in case when I come back to decorate, if I decide to do some color blocking, it'll be easy to lift the tape and relocate the magnets. So I'm pressing them into place, but I'm not going to burnish them until I'm ready to actually cover it with designer paper. That way it gives me an easy out if I decide I want to relocate the magnets. And that is that. So that's the end of it for page 7 until we're ready to decorate. I'll be back soon. Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create. We're working on Ephemera Queen and we are on to page 7. And I'm just double checking to make sure I've got my orientation right, and I do. I love this pattern. It's my favorite in the collection. So let me tell you what we're doing. We are, oops, I made a mistake. I just realized something. This is from the 8x8 collection pack, and I had trimmed out a strip to go over here that's from the 12x12. So real quick, I'm going to cut another 2-inch strip so it's the same size, or 1-inch strip, sorry, same size as what's underneath. So let me do that real quick. I don't know how I missed that the first time I inked it, but I did. Okay, so just so happened I had a 1-inch strip laying around anyway, so that's pretty easy to solve. Okay, so the floral pattern and the two sides, the yellow, are also from the 8x8 collection pack. So everything you see on this top spread here is from the collection 8x8 collection pack. The green is a pattern in solid. And let me double check. Pretty sure. Yes, it is a pattern in solid. So let's start by laying that one in. I hope everybody's doing well as we're working on getting to the end of this album. This is very cheerful colors. It's very girly. I could see doing a granddaughter, niece, or even garden, because it's got lots of florals in it. It just feels very girly, tea party-ish. Spring colors. Okay, now we're going to get back to doing the A sides, the top. This is really hard for me to do, but I don't want too much of this pattern, so, but it's hard to cover this one up. It's my favorite in the pack. But it is featured on the top. And typically the way I design with the designer paper is the intent is for the photos to go on the B sides, and the A sides are meant to be more decorative. You can easily put a photo there too, but that's kind of how I plan it. So some of the more striking visual patterns will be on the A side. And the more subtle will be on the B side. So it's just easier to put a photo on. And I'm dry fitting this, and it, I think, needs to be trimmed down just a little. That's not the right one. So I've trimmed out. Here it is. I was gonna say I trimmed it out and I set it aside immediately, misplacing it. Okay, now I'm checking and it's a little too wide. So I'm gonna see if I can't lift the edge of the hinge slightly to tuck inside. If I can't, then I'm gonna trim my strip down. And I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to grab too much. With the hook. Can I push it in? Not quite. So I'm going to wind up doing a little bit of both. Trimming and trying to nestle it underneath the hinge. Okay. I don't need to ink it because it's getting slightly tucked in behind this hinge. Okay, so we're set. Perfect. Okay. There is some writing on this, so you need to take a close look at the pattern behind it. Looks like I need to shave off a sliver. And make sure you orient your panel so that the cursive writing is going in the right direction. It's very faint. If you got it in upside down, I honestly don't think anybody would notice. Okay. Okay guys, and now that I've got the A sides in, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go upload these videos, and when I come back, I'll have trimmed out and inked the B side, so we'll be ready to quickly lay in the B sides for this page. Thanks everybody, I'll be back soon. Hey everyone, it's Daphne. We're on page 7 and we're going to finish up the B sides. Okay, we're going to do some color blocking here. And I'm using just some scraps that I had, various sizes, and then just trimming them down to fit. This is actually a scrap that was left from the 12 by 12. I mentioned it before, but this is from the 8 by 8. This is a pattern in solid. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down the pattern here and then trim this last piece to fit. And again, this so happens to be from the 12 by 12. It's not necessary. If you had a scrap this wide in your 8 by 8, that would be good too. And I'll tell you how wide it is. And there's nothing magic. It just happened to be the size I had. It's 2.5 inches wide. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to apply this, and it looks like I need just to take a sliver out of it, and it'll be perfect. And so this piece is just under 3.5 inches. So there we go. I started with 3.5 and took a 1/16 off, and that's where I wound up. And that's only if you want a color block. And really, you know, I would base it on what patterns you have left, the size of the pattern that's left. Sorry, that was loud. Trying to decide. I think I'm going to go with a solid. Okay, very good. So that is in. Okay, and now we're going to line the large panel. And here's what I've got. I've got 2 of these florals left, and these are from the 8 by 8 collection pack. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to the outside edge and then put this on the inside. So I'm going to do the outside edges and then trim the center to fit. I should have told you the size, but I'll measure this one. It's 2 inches. It happens to be 2 inches wide. I was just laying this on top because I want to make sure that I cover the magnet all the way around, and with a 2-inch piece I will. You know what, I actually think I was doing it the other way around. I think I meant to put this up and put the yellow strips down, but this is what we're going to go with. We're going to do the opposite. Okay, now I need to trim this down to fit. There we go. Isn't that lovely? So I did actually mean to have this reverse, have this be yellow and this be the pattern. So there would have been a yellow strip here, pattern. But it still looks good this way. And your chances are you're going to open it like this. You're not going to accordion open it like that. Anyway, so goes it. Anyways, that's the end of, what page am I on? Page 7. Okay, I'll be back shortly and we'll start work on page 8.